I see government as an instrument of improving lives and of we the people doing things collectively for each other. Service isn't about what you do for others, it's how you feel when you're doing that work.
Is that how you define service?
I bristle when people say, I do this to give back. I want to say, what makes you so special that you think you've got some gift that you're giving? My father was somebody who believed in community. So if it snowed and Mrs. Poster needed to get to the daily mass, we were over there shoveling her walk. I learned that it wasn't about helping her. It was how it made you feel because you had that opportunity to help her. The hardest day for me was disappointing friends when I took a vote on the gun law. I know why I did it. I can explain why I took that vote. And it was hard because it hurt a lot of people, especially the Sandy Hook parents. I think they felt that that vote disrespected them. And when you think about Sandy Hook, who has suffered more in this country than somebody who has lost the hope of a child?
Would you do something differently now?
I still believe that that the vote to expand background checks was not the most significant vote that was taken that day, which is another thing about serving. You need to know that you're not going to be perfect every day. You're not going to make the decision that in hindsight looks brilliant, and you have to learn how to give yourself grace and move on. I had someone contact me from Spirit Lake Nation, which is one of our tribal nations in North Dakota. Andy Shaw was injured in action in Korea, but also captured at the same time. And he served most of the Korean War in a prisoner of war camp. So when he got out, he didn't have any confirmation that he had been injured and therefore was not given a Purple Heart. And the time that Andy Shaw went to Korea, in most cases, Native Americans didn't have the right to vote if they were still members of tribal nations. And we were able to find someone in a nursing home in Texas who would sign the affidavit saying, yes, he knew Andy and Andy had been injured. We went to Spirit Lake Nation and presented him with his medal of, with his Purple Heart. And he was in a wheelchair, very fragile, and he stood up out of that wheelchair, clutching his Purple Heart, put his hand over his heart as they played his honor song. Of all the memories I have of things that I was able to do, that will be my most treasured memory of my service. I started chemotherapy before we ended the campaign because the cancer was stage 3A, it's serious. But I thought, I can quit and go home, or I can just stay in the race. And my daughter, who was a competitive swimmer, said, she swam the 500, and she said, Mom, it'd be like getting out halfway. You gotta stay in. She was only 14. And so I approached every day with joy and happiness that I had that day. And I think, people always say, how did it calibrate you? How did it change you? I said, losing an election changed me more than cancer, because I had this goal that I was going to be governor, and I lost that goal. I wasn't able to become governor of North Dakota, which I would have loved to have done. And then I knew that I grew through that. And I think I grew to understand that not everybody has to like me, and that I am truly blessed with an amazing family. I am blessed with such, to live in a country that did research on breast cancer, and we are seeing survival rates go up and up and up, and I'm the benefactor of that. So when you talk about public policy and an impact, I don't see government as the obstacle. I see government as an instrument of improving lives and of we the people doing things collectively for each other. And I can give you example after example where I've been blessed by government intervention. My mission now is something different. It's to basically inspire young people to participate, give them some opportunities to do that. If young people voted at the same percentage demographically that 65-year-olds, the priorities of politicians would be way different. And so our calling now is to get out the youth vote. They are not a monolith in terms of what they think politically. That's okay. But we know that one of the true indicators of people's lifelong voting patterns is that they start young and they see their parents vote.